Today, the 2nd of March, we see the moon in Aries forming a square aspect with Mars in Cancer. We also see Mercury in conjunction with Neptune in the sign of Pisces, and the Sun in the sign of Pisces squaring Jupiter in Gemini. The moon is the illumination of our inner self, our emotional self, our intuitive knowing self, the self that only we know. It is the inner part of our being that allows us to perceive who we are and to understand ourselves on a subconscious level, understand ourselves on a very deep internal level. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and the cardinal fire sign. Aries is all about the energy of I am, the energy of the individual. And as the beginning of the zodiac cycle, it is all about initiating new beginnings, initiating new cycles, and initiating new cycles that are for the self, allowing us to start in this energy of what we need to act on in order for us to be perceived in our world, perceived by ourselves as well as by others. So the moon in Aries, the moon stepping into its new cycle of the zodiac cycle, the moon in its waxing cycle, in its cycle of growth, where it becomes more illuminated by the sun as the moon and sun move away from each other, allowing us to step into these new cycles of new beginnings. So the moon in Aries is asking us to initiate action that is for the self. As a fire sign, it is connected to our desires, to the actions that we are taking, and our ability to bring things into being through the ways that we act and turn up. So the moon in Aries asking us to take action for the self, to initiate this new cycle of the moon, this new lunar cycle, this new cycle of growth, and allowing it to be from a level that is deep within ourselves, action for the self. Square aspects are aspects of challenge and tension as two energies come at each other from an angle. Square aspects require us to see both sides of the stories. So to look at those aspects that the moon represents and to look at those aspects that Mars represent and to see how those may be in conflict and how we can bring them to compromise in order to turn the corner. Square aspects are tense because they require a choice. They require a decision. They require action to be taken to enable us to move forward. Mars is the energy of action. It is the planet of drive. It is the planet of action, the planet of desire. It is our ability to put things into motion. As a personal planet, it influences us all individually and is about how we turn up for ourselves, how we turn up in our actions, and how we see our actions affecting ourselves and others. Cancer is the cardinal water sign. It is about initiating things from this emotional feeling self. Water signs are connected to our emotional waters. They are connected to our intuition, and they are connected to that inner source of being. They are connected to the moon. The moon is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is also about being protective of ourselves, but also having the vulnerability to be. Cancer is associated with our homes, our families, and our being at the most basic level. So are your actions in alignment with yourself? Are you acting to protect yourself? Are you being vulnerable in your actions? It's important to be both those things, to act to protect ourselves and to enable our growth, but also to be vulnerable in accepting that maybe our actions haven't been the best. Maybe our actions have negatively impacted others. Maybe we are not acting in ways that support those in our homes, those in our relationships with ourselves. So Mars in Cancer has been allowing us to see how our actions are influencing both ourselves as a being, but also impacting those around us, impacting our homes and our families, impacting our protection, impacting how we see ourselves as vulnerable. Are you acting so that you can hide those vulnerabilities? Or are you simply acting from a place that is unprotected? The way that we act greatly influences ourselves and others. So this energy of Mars in Cancer and looking at how our actions impact others, how we initiate actions from our emotional waters. Are you acting in ways that are emotional? Do you hold emotional integrity when it comes to seeing how your emotions influence your actions and how your actions influence your emotions? So this square aspect between the moon in Aries and Mars in Cancer is asking us to look at how we are acting for ourselves. We have 2 cards of action. We have 2 cards of emotional intuition, both on opposite sides of these energies. So it's about finding the compromise between these 2 energies to make the choice to turn a corner and move forward. Make the decision today to see where you are acting for yourself and take the actions that you know that you need to take in order to better yourself, to better your home, and to better your families. Take the actions today that are going to help you and to bring your internal needs and wants into being. Are you acting for yourself or are you acting for others? And once you can see where your actions are coming from, you're going to be able to make those choices and decisions to move forward. And those decisions and choices are going to lead to new actions that are in better alignment with yourself and your needs. The next aspect we see today is Mercury, the planet of communication and messages, aligning with Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is the mutual water sign. It is about changing our emotional waters and seeing how our emotions lead to our cycles. As the last sign of the zodiac, it is about wrapping things up. It is the energy of completion, the energy of closure, energy of seeing things from both sides of the story. The 2 fish swimming in different directions shows us that it does not matter which direction we go in, for we will always end up where we need to be. It also shows us the duality of nature. 1 fish dark, 1 fish light. The 2 aspects of being, the 2 aspects of self. That from the darkness we see the light, and in the light we see the darkness, that we need both darkness and light in order to find this balance to move forward, this balance to swim in our waters, to go with the flow. So Mercury aligning with Neptune in this Pisces energy is really going to help wrap up this connection of Pisces energy that we have been seeing over the end of February as we step into March here, allowing us to really align our storytelling with our dreams. Mercury is about the messages that we give. This includes the story we tell to ourselves, and about others. It is the way that we communicate, the forms that we communicate. Neptune is about our dreams and visions. Are you communicating your dreams and visions in a way that is in alignment with your cycles, in alignment with your complete story? So this conjunction, this alignment of these 2 energies is really bringing our communication and our storytelling into alignment with our dreams and visions, allowing us to drop the illusions, drop the things that are no longer serving, and wrap up this cycle of communication. It's going to allow us to communicate our dreams in new ways. In order for us to see where we are communicating the dreams we hold, or where we are communicating from this place of societal norms or expectations of others. Neptune is also the planet of delusions. For a dream is a delusion unless we take action on it. A dream is a delusion if we cannot communicate it into the steps that need to bring it into being. A dream is a delusion if we cannot see the vision in making it a reality. So this alignment of Mercury and Neptune is really going to be asking us to drop the illusions, and to step into this energy of communicating our dreams in new ways so that we are able to bring our communication into a new form when it moves into Aries. Neptune will also be moving into Aries this year, which is a big shift because Neptune travels more slowly through the zodiac signs and spends years in those signs. So this alignment of Mercury with Neptune is asking us to get our messages in order, get our dreams in order, to see how those things lead to the cycles we're walking through, and allowing us to end those cycles that are not in balance with what we need. Those cycles that cause us emotional distress, that cause us imbalance, and really aligning us in this energy of the story we are telling ourselves, the story that is the reality, and allowing those things to come into being so that the story we're telling is the reality of who we are right now, for we are ever changing, and the messages that we give and the dreams that we have are always going to be changing and evolving. So a powerful conjunction right after we've moved into the new lunar cycle is allowing us to see where we can put new messages out there in order for us to move forward with the dreams that hold true to whom we are. The last aspect that we see today is the Sun in Pisces, forming a square aspect with Jupiter in Gemini. The Sun is the representation of our outer self. It is the source of all of our energy. It is whom we shine out into the world and what we allow others to see. While in Pisces, we have been wrapping up the cycle we have been working through, this cycle of personal growth, this cycle of shining ourselves out into the world in balanced ways, this ability to see that by being honest about both our darkness and our lightness, we're able to show ourselves in wholeness. Be that source of reality in a world that is a little bit delusional. Be that source of reality of the ever-changing needs of the self, allowing yourself to adapt and grow and to see how the changes you are making are allowing you to flow in this abundance of your being. The Sun is a very abundant energy as it is the source of growth. So the way that we put ourselves out there, the way that we project ourselves into our universe is a source of growth for ourselves as we learn to turn up in new ways, as we learn to balance the way that we allow our emotions to show, and where we can see that our emotions are a source of energy and that we can change the way that we allow our emotions to influence us. Emotions are just energy in motion. They enable us to see what's important for ourselves. They enable us to see how we want to turn up. They enable us to see the cycles of change and growth that we need to work through. So the Sun in Pisces, Pisces season, is all about allowing us to make the changes in our emotional waters that allow us to flow in our life, wrapping up the things that are not serving us, and allowing us to see how both our darkness and our lightness is what makes us whole, is what makes us unique, and is the source of whom we are. By accepting and seeing these things, we are able to make changes in the source of ourself and the way that we shine out into the world and the way that we turn up for others. Forming this square with Jupiter is allowing us to step into the energies of abundance, infinite potential, and growth. Jupiter, the planet of abundance, the planet of potential, the planet of expansion, expanding our forms of communication, expanding our mind. Gemini is the mutable air sign. It is about the changing mind and how the changing mind influences the messages that we tell, how the changing mind allows us to take things and bring them together and understand them. And from this understanding, we're able to bring things into abundance. We're able to understand what we have and have gratitude for the things that we have. And by having this gratitude, we are able to step into the energies of abundance. We are able to expand things. Jupiter, as the planet of expansion, is asking us, how can you expand your mind to support whom you are in your cycles? Is your mind in conflict with your emotional self, with the self you put out there? Are you hiding your emotions and not allowing them to be seen by your expansive mind? This square aspect is asking us to stand in our cycle, and see how we can expand our mind in order to put more of ourselves out there, in order to shine our knowledge, in order to show up in our world, in order to support ourselves in the stories that we are telling. These 3 planetary aspects today are showing us that we have the ability to turn up for ourselves. We have the ability to take the actions that we need to move forward. We have the ability to bring our dreams and our messages into alignment, and to take these things, bring abundance to them, make the choices to turn the corner and walk through our cycles, shining those things out into the universe, allowing us to bring these cycles of change and growth into being, and to put ourselves out there. By putting ourselves out there, we are going to expand and grow. We're going to bring the changes we have been making into being, and we're going to take the actions that align with the goals we are working towards, the person we want to be, the person that we are, allowing us to wrap up the cycles that are necessary for personal growth.